Okay.
Yeah, we are recording.
Okay, cool. So I will kick off with a short introduction and then I will pass over to you, Jacob. I'm super happy to have you all here today. We are having a live coding session with Jacob and developer program team. I will quickly introduce you to the hosts. So we'll start with Jacob, and please welcome him. He's a front-end lead at developer program team. He built several apps himself, and he will be building one today with you live. He'll be joined with Ola, who takes care of documentation and all educational content from LiveChat platform. We probably also have Michał, or he will be joining in a second. He leads backend services for us. We also have Sambor and Dominic in developer program team, who takes care of front-end interfaces, including developer console and marketplace. We also have Christian, who takes care that the quality of our services is top-notch. And we also have Maciek, UX designer and project leader for marketplace. We make sure that all the interfaces are user-friendly. And finally, last but not least, we have Jakub Derda, who is a product manager of developer program team. And they will host you today for live coding. And this is a moment that I can pass over the mic to Jacob.
Cool, thank you. Thank you, Philip. Hi, guys. So yeah, my name is Jacob. And as Philip mentioned, I'm a front-end developer. Sorry, I just also have to admit some people to the meeting. For some reason, I enable the meeting room and now everybody wants to join. Well, okay, it's good. It's good. And yeah, what we're going to do today is we will try to implement a simple app, and which we are going to use in our product. So we're going to use developer console, live chat app, and other SDKs built by LiveChat, but also different libraries. I'm going to discuss that later as we go along. But yeah, what actually our team is doing. So let me share my screen. Cool. Hold on. Okay, this can go here and that here. All right. Cool. Yes, so our team is trying to make it easier for external developers to build apps, which then can be installed through the marketplace and used with a live chat app. It can be simple app, really, just like helping or filling the gaps with the live chat app. So for example, if there is a missing functionality and you know it and you would like to have it, there is a room for you to do it. Or if you would like to integrate with other platform like, I don't know, Slack or Google Docs or any really, this is also the place to do it. And then when the apps is reviewed and published, it goes to the marketplace. And yeah, in the marketplace, as a customer, you can install it. Sorry, as a user, you can install it up here, and then I'm going to show you later how it's connected with the LiveChat app. Okay, and also, if you haven't heard yet, we are running a virtual hackathon. There's not much time left, and the submission deadline is the Sunday, but there is still time. So as you can see, hopefully today, it's not that difficult to implement an app. So I guess 2 days of hardcore work is enough for you to do it. I'll try to keep this meeting quite casual. So feel free to ask questions. Is it on chat or just like on the microphone? Feel free to do it. We'll try to answer. Okay, and what else from the introduction points? Yeah, I think that's it. So let's get back to my presentation.
When is the lunch break?
I already had one. But yeah, I mean, you know, cool. Okay. So within our team, we are running something called Fun with Flags for Big Bang Theory fans. I think you know what I'm talking about. And today is a special one because it's going to be via Zoom, and we invited you guys as well. We're going to build a weather app. Yeah, I mentioned about that. So agenda is we'll have two parts. In the first part, we're going to implement a functionality which displays weather information about the customer who joins the chat. And in the second part, if we have time, we're going to send weather information from agent to the customer. Yeah, some requirements. So if you like to watch me, it's fine, but I'm also encourage you to do the coding as well with me. So there are a few things you require to do. You'll need to have a live chat account. It's very easy to sign up for like now, and it's free. So you can do it on the livechat.com website. Then you would have to clone the repository. I'm going to actually paste that link in the chat. Hold on. Okay. And yeah, I'm going to use JavaScript and React as a framework. So yeah, JavaScript knowledge is, I guess, it's required. Cool. I asked my team yesterday what will be the use case for the weather app, because it's good to build something, but it's also good to know what actually is going to do and is like your business or your client business fit for it. So yeah, we had few ideas for that. So yeah, that's one, the one which is quite obvious is holiday bookings. Let's say you have a travel company, and somebody was going to ask you about the weather. Perfect scenario also for the restaurant bookings. I don't know if it's a restaurant outside or something. It's also you can ask about the weather. Clothes retailer, that was actually a good one, where you can actually, depends of your customer weather, you can actually maybe suggest them to buy different type of clothes. And for example, if an emergency organization, like I don't know, let's say you have some problem in the mountain, for some reason thankfully you have you have reception on your mobile, and you can contact an agent and tell them like what's the weather there. Okay, maybe it sounds stupid now when I think about it, but it's good enough. Okay, cool. So in the part one, as I said, we're going to display customer weather. We're going to use Create React App for the app, and then we're going to use Agent App SDK. I'm going to talk about this in a minute. And for the weather, we're going to use API from Open Weather Map. Yeah. And in the second part, which we hopefully get to, we're going to use Account SDK and rich messages. But yeah, more about this later. So yeah, let's go to demo. Okay. So as I mentioned, you would need to have you need to clone first of all this repository. Can you guys still hear me and see me? Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. I've done it already. I've got it here installed. So, but just to make sure, you just do npm install or yarn install if you prefer yarn. We're going to work from on master branch, which has like a placeholder I created to help me with the code to go through the for this meeting.
Jacob said just a little suggestion. Probably the font size for the terminal would be nice to have it. Yeah.
Sure thing.
Thank you.
Okay, while this is happening, we go to developer console. Cool, and this is the fresh account I created today. I'm going to create a new app, so I'm going to call it weather app. Hit continue, and yeah, this is the view, like the basic view you get when you create a new app. You have some overview. You get more info here later. And then you got those sections on the left-hand side about like analytics of your app. This is useful when your app is published. And then you have the building blocks. I'll get to the details about this later. Then you have some display details. So for example, like your name, the short description, which is visible in the marketplace, like over here. And then the app icon. We have some generator, but I prefer a prepared one icon, which I think it's nice. And the short description is going to be, I don't know, display weather information. Cool, we're going to save that. That's fine. And then we will go to building blocks. We have different building blocks, and depends on the application of your needs. Yeah, so we have the authorization block, agent app widget, chat actions, webhooks, chat webhooks, monetization. So yeah, if you'd like to sell your app on marketplace, you can do that as well. Cool. I'm not going to go through all of them today. We're going to use probably just one or two. Yeah. So what we're going to do is we are going to in agent app, we call it. So this is like a live chat app where agent has access to all the chats from the customers, so they can communicate with them here. And we have the section of applications on the right hand side. Hold on. Over here, so if I start a test chat, and I start the chat, yeah, the section of the for the apps is on here on the right hand side. So here on the top, my license already have 3 apps installed, so you can see them here. The new one is not visible yet because it's not installed. So yeah, so we're going to use this app, agent app widgets. Okay, so because this is going to be development, I'm not going to publish that into production today. It's just going to go on the local host. So as we probably can see here, if we run npm start, it's going to open localhost on port 3000, I believe. Yeah. And if all goes well, you should have some placeholder. Cool. You should have some placeholder like this in here. Cool. So yeah, we're going to insert that over here. And here we have widget placements. So we're going to use chat details. This is the one I was talking about, this one on the right hand side. But we also have an app settings, so where you can actually put your settings, a full screen app, which basically if you create one, it's going to be stick over here on the left sidebar, and it's going to work as an iframe. So like a full screen, like a full screen app over here. And the message box. So if you use that one, then the message box is going to be, sorry, I'm going to start this chat. It's going to put your app over here. But yeah, today, just chat detail section. So let's create that here, over here, hit continue. Okay, I did that actually on purpose because we had many questions about that, and it's not that because we require to be to have HTTPS on the in this URL, and it's not that difficult with create React app. It's really very simple. What you need to do is just on your in the dev mode, you just stick into the scripts HTTPS equals true, and that's it. You get your certificate for the development purposes. Of course, then for the production, you would need a proper one. Yeah, well, we are safe because we know what we're doing, so it's all good. Cool. So I'm going to change that now to HTTPS and continue. And that's actually it for now. If we want to see our app, well, our app for now is just displaying some HTML. We can just use the private installation mode. So if we go to private installation and we hit install app, this is going to install your app, but only on your account. Yep. So it's not going to be visible to anyone else. So it's good. It's good feature. So you can actually implement it and see how it looks like already in the live chat app. Cool. So if I refresh this page, yeah, you can see our icon here. So if I press on it, perfect. There is this little card I created with some title, body, and a button, but it doesn't do anything yet, obviously. Cool. So what we're going to do now, we are going to scaffold our app. So if you go to app.js file, I already created some views. Well, we're going to use only one. So I'm going to use widget, but maybe let's go through packages I've already installed. For CSS, we're going to use Emotion. Of course, you can use any preference you have, but for this demo, I'm going to use that one. As I mentioned before, we need those libraries to communicate with different parts of live chat ecosystem. So for the part 1, we're going to use Agent App SDK. For the part 2, we're going to Account SDK. I've already installed that. We're going to use our pattern library, which we have. It's called Design System. We have that design system, so it helps actually to build your app, which looks not like native app. Yeah, so we have all the same like fonts, colors, buttons, other HTML elements, which looks similar to the one which is native. In order to have this look and feel, that is not something like which shouldn't be there. So we have that here as well, and this is just some standard stuff from Create React App. And to communicate with API, my preference is to use Axios library, but you can use Fetch or anything else really. But for this demo, I'm going to use that one. Cool. And what else? All right, yes. So as I mentioned before, we are going to use a Open Weather Map API. It's free for some time. So what we need to do is just to go to this website, create an account, and create an API key. Because this is demo, I'm going to delete those keys after the demo, so there is no security breach. Cool. So I'm going to use this key. The problem with this platform is that I think they require a few minutes in order to activate that key. So if you create now one, it might not work straight away, but I think you just need to wait a couple of minutes. Okay.
So in the meantime, I believe we have a question from Karen. Can the card widget created to be sent to the customers, basically creating a widget that can be sent to customers to quickly do a specific task? And I believe that we can suggest using a moment, right? So a particular request to the customer asks him or her to open up an iframe. And within the iframe, you can do all kind of activities. So that's probably you would do a thing. We don't currently provide an opportunity to show entire widgets to the customer.
Yeah, if you like more information about moments, yeah, you just go to our documentation and just hit moment, and just go there and read about some use cases. I think that's the perfect place.
Yeah, so for instance, like picking up the date in calendar or providing some additional details like filling in surveys, these kind of activities.
Cool, thanks, Philip. Because I wasn't actually following chat. So yeah, if you see any messages, please let me know. Cool. Okay, so where was I? Cool, yes. So we have the widget created, and also within the widget, let me just close maybe this window. We have the card, which you already saw. So inside the card, we have some really basic HTML. I'm going to put that here because we're going to use that in a minute. Cool. So for now, I guess we can close the app, and we can go to the widget. Right. So what next? Well, we would need to have we need to connect with live chat ecosystem. Yeah. So we're going to use widget SDK agent app SDK, which based on documentation, close that. Okay. If we go to messaging, sorry, agent app SDK, and we scroll here. Yeah, so basically what we require is when customer joins, we would like to have the information, and live chat provides that information via geolocation, and inside the geolocation object we store like a city. That's what we're going to use based on the API. So in order to implement that, we would need to import the details widget, and then just initialize it, create some events, and then handle that. So let's quickly do that. So I'm going to import create details widget from live chat account, live chat agent app SDK. Cool. We are going to use hooks in React. Well, I'm not going to go through the details and explaining what hooks are. I hope you guys understand it. Well, I'm going to use state hook to create local state for this widget. This whole implementation is not going to be production ready. There will be, of course, room for improvement. I just wanted to show you how easily it is to implement the app within like few hours. Well, cool. So I'm going to create a profile state. All right, and then we are going to create a widget, and we are going to use the reference for that. We want to create multiple instances of the same thing. And of course, I need to use effect hook in order to react on changes from the props and different variables. So this can go here. Okay, So our first effect is going to be yeah. So we probably need something like get widget. Let's implement that method. And get widget is going to be a method which initialize the agent app SDK, the details widget. It's going to be a synchronous function. I'm going to use async awaits, but you can use promises or yeah, don't use anything else. Cool. Going to use try catch for handling some errors. Well, I can display those errors if there are any for development purposes, of course. And then by default, we're going to reset that profile if there is an error. And because it's a reference, so we have this current object on that, and we are going to call await from the create details widget. So that's the method we imported from this SDK. Okay, and then this method, sorry, this object have some events listeners on it. So we just do get widget current on, and as I think documentation states, yeah, we can just do the customer profile. So this, as I mentioned, is going to display your customer profile, and we're going to demo that in a minute. So if you go to customer profile, okay, that's async as well. So in here, actually, I'm going to show you that. Okay, that's all saved, and we also need to remember about cleaning process from the effects. So as you can see, we've added some listeners, so we just have to remove them from here. So if we go on here, and we're going to just return widget current it's off, if I'm not mistaken. Well, we get back to that. Let's just do for now conditional, and let's just like that. Cool. So there are. Okay, let's open DevTools. Okay, so we have a profile here. You guys still can hear me, yeah?
That's right.
Mm-hmm. Perfect. And if I'm going too fast, let me know. I hope I'm not. But as I said, this session is recorded, so you can then follow it from the recordings if you like. But yeah, as you can see, we have some information about this customer here. So we have information about the chat ID, about the thread ID, about some pre-chat survey if they had. We have the email, and the one key which is important for this demo is the geolocation. Yeah, so I have geolocation currently of my position. We have a city and other stuff. And as this API for the weather, there is an endpoint which lets you get the current weather in the city name. So what we have to do is just build an API client which calls this endpoint, pass the city name, the API key, and yeah, that's it. And we should get back some data, and then we will format it later. Cool. I'm going to show you actually how this widget responds to different charts. So, for example, if we have more customers, so let's open one in Firefox. So I'm going to open chat. It's called Mark. Cool. So if we switch, you see I have Mark and I have Jacob Sikora. So every time you actually change, you can see that this event from here is actually recognizing that I'm changing it. So every time an agent will change the chat, it will get the current customer profile information. So that's good. Yeah, but let's can close this chat for now. Don't need that. Just close it. In order to keep it active, let's write some message. Good stuff. Cool. So yeah, we've got the profile. So we just need to save it to our state. Okay, and that's that. Done. Cool. Now we will create we'll create the API for the weather. So as you probably saw, there is a folder with API I created with different clients, the live chat and weather. For now, just going to use weather. I have this API key created to show you about, and I'm using Axios to create new instance of this API. And the method I'm going to use is I'm going to create something called, I don't know, get weather, and the argument is going to be city. Yeah, as I described before. So what we're going to do here is going to get some response from, and I believe that was, I think this is just get. So we go to get, and that was weather, the point. And our query params is city, and the app ID, where app ID is API key. Cool. So we're going to do Q, which is city, and then app ID, which is API key. Of course, in the production ready application, I do not recommend storing API key on the browser because it's security breach and everyone can steal that key and use it. So ideal solution would be to create a backend app which handles those responses, and you just call your backend and get stuff back. But for purpose of this demo, I'm just doing it like this. So don't worry, I know what I'm doing. Cool. So let's see what actually this endpoint does it. So what else we have here? So we have app ID mode by default, I think is JSON. That's good. We have units, and that's probably important for us. So we have standard metric imperial. Because we are in Poland now, so I'm going to use metric. Cool. Units, and that's metric. Okay. So, well, let's see what we have here. Oh yeah, because it's Axios, I don't know if you use it before or not. Axios responds in a certain way. So there is always so there is like a data object which is within the response. So I believe excuse me. So I believe the response of this call is we'll have a data inside. So we're just going to distract this data because that's what we need, and we're going to return data. Yeah, but let's see how that works. So if we go to our widget, we can create a new instance of this class over here. So let's call it weather client. Client equals new. Okay, yeah, we need to probably import that. That will be useful. So if we do weather API client from API weather, cool. So then we just do weather API client, and just to follow some rules. Cool. So that's that. Okay, and we are going to create some method for that. This can go. Cool. So let's call it fetch weather. Going to call API, so it's going to be async. I will explain you that in a minute. So my preference is, if possible, and if you don't do any extra handling, I'm handling errors inside the component here. But if you'd like some custom erroring or different stuff related to error handling, yeah, feel free to do the try catch here and handle errors over there. But for this exercise, we're going to do it here. So try catch. How are we doing with time? Okay, it's okay. We still have 20 minutes or so. Cool. So let's call it create a weather variable, and we are going to call our client, and we're going to use the get weather method. And as I showed you before, we are storing the profile in the state. So we should have it here. Our profile geolocation city. Of course, this stuff I'm writing now, it's not bulletproof. So I'm suggesting for you to check that the profile geolocation exists actually before you call it. But for this presentation, I think it's enough. Okay. Perfect. And what we need as well here is to create some state when we're going to store the current weather. We're going to pass the current weather further down to the weather card via props. As you probably know, in React, there's few ways of doing it. I'm doing it this way. Cool. So let's create a setter for this state. Set current weather. Okay, and by default, it's going to be cool. So we're going to use that setter over here. So when we get weather back, well, actually, before we do that, let's see if that works. So let's console log weather for this guy. Yeah, okay, we need to call that from our, we need to create an effect. So let's create another effect, which is going to depend of the profile. So if the profile exists, because there is like the and there is a time which you have to wait for the initial load of the profile. So if that changes, we're going to prefile, not profile. We are going to fetch the weather. So at this point, we know that we have a profile, and hopefully there is a geolocation, and we can call it. Nice. Cool. So I think that's pretty much good for now. So let's see what we have. So if we go to chats and reload the frame just to make sure. Ooh, 401. Okay. What's happening? So we are using get. And there is no query params, or what's happening?
You know, it's a live demo when you see red warnings in the console.
Yep.
It's probably also
okay.
on purpose.
No, it's not. Okay, I just missed it here. Should be good. Hey. So if we go here and see what actually the API returns, it returns some stuff like the stations, some information about clouding, chords and coordinations, I think of your current position, I think, or maybe of this weather station. And then we have the name of the station, time zone, we love time zones, wind, and some main information about temperature, and what else? And then we have the weather array, which will tell us about, okay, which has some description and icon. I'm going to show you, that's pretty cool. And then main information that it's cloud. Okay, if I see through the window, yeah, that's correct. It's broken clouds. I don't know what you guys have, but cool. We can use that now.
It's pretty broken on my side as well.
Yeah, and as you can see, I used metric units. I think if you use imperial, you get Fahrenheit, but as I mentioned, we are in Poland, so we're using metrics. Cool. So I think this file is good enough for now. We're not going to change anything here. What we need to do is to set the current weather. So if we fetch the weather, okay, so we got the weather. We're going to do it in here. Of course, I'm, for the demo purposes, I'm storing the whole object. You can store the information you need. It's fine for this demo. So console, just to see an error. Okay, and then if there's an error, we're going to reset the current weather to be no. Right. Okay, so now we need to use this this current weather somewhere. So as you probably know, we are going to do that in the weather card. So we're going to pass the current weather as a prop over there. So let's call the prop weather, and this is going to be current weather. Okay, cool. So on here we have this card, and we're going to rename it to be weather card to be consistent. And I believe this is weather card. Nice. Okay. So yeah, as I mentioned, I'm using Emotion for CSS. I'm not using any theming for this demo. Of course, you can do that. You can, move your variables somewhere up, which is consistent. So as you can see, I'm using different margins and whatnot. And I'm also using the design system colors. So I mentioned what I'm using, but I never showed you. So if we go to to the website design system, I'm going to post all the links into my presentation later, so you can follow it. You can see all that stuff here. We have those components which are available now, and yeah, we have also the colors which we are using in our apps. So you can install this package separately, and you can then import the colors and use it in your application. So that's what we're going to do. We've imported some colors over there, and we're just using them here in the motion in the CSS. Cool. So okay. So what we have here, we have some title, we have some body, and we have some action. Okay. For now, we're not going to use that section, so let's just comment this out. But for this one, okay. So we are passing weather as a prop, so let's do that here. Okay. So let's say in the title, it's going to say, I don't know, customer weather. And over here, I think I'm going to just follow sort of iPhone weather app, which I believe something like this. Well, I'm not going to implement everything. I'm just going to put maybe like a city, and then if it's sunny or broken clouds, temperature, but also an icon. So yeah, let's try to replicate something similar to this one. Okay, so we are going to use div where we going to put the location. Nice, but the location which we got back, I'm actually not sure if it's my current location or if it's a weather station. Well, I was experimenting that a few days ago, and I saw some different results. So what I'm going to actually use is location from LiveChat geolocation, which is more accurate. But that's it. That's stored in the profile. Yeah. So I'm going to pass that prop over here as well. So that cool. So we are going to do profile geolocation and a city. I'm going to use CSS like this just to be quicker. So I think maybe let's do font size 22 pixels with some margin. Bottom 4px. I do not recommend that way. I'm just saying that this is just for demo. Okay, let's see what we have here. Okay, we have some error, but let's maybe reload the frame. No. Okay, so what's going on? Profile, weather. Did I save everything? Yes. I stored profile. Yes. So geolocation, what's the problem? Oh yeah, okay, there we go. So I'm not checking actually that the profile exists, and I'm just passing stuff and trying to render this this component without checking if actually the profile is present. And obviously this is really bad. So let's do a quick check if no profile. Or actually, because we know that if there is profile, we fetch the weather, and if we can fetch the weather, we have custom weather. So we can just check here if the custom weather exists. And why is it complaining? Because it's not custom, but it's current. Cool. Okay. Ooh. Okay. Nice. We have some title. We have some city name. Okay. Let's go further. So what else we had there? So we had like information about the weather. Let's create another div. I'm just going with divs. Hope you don't mind. And then here we're going to have weather. If I can write, okay, cool. I think that was, let's see what we got back again in the preview. Okay, so we have weather and the weather key, which is an array. Okay, unfortunate, but let's stick it for now. Let's weather, that's the first element of an array. And we can use the description. But as you can see, the description is small letters. So I'm going to use CSS to change that. But also, I'm going to change a little bit font to be smaller. Okay, and text transform capitalize, I think, as far as I remember. Sweet. Okay, so we got the city name, and we have some information about the clouds or sun, if you're lucky. And then what I would like to show is some icon. Of course, you can map icons of your choice. You know, if you're a designer and he has time to do it, create your assets for you. It's cool. This API lets you has different icon ID for different weather, and I think this is described somewhere in the docs. Okay, where is it? Nope. Okay, this is here, weather icon. Okay, yes. So list of weather condition codes with icons. So if you go here, and they provide you the icon lists and all the description which are possible with this API. And also they give you a URL which lets you compose your icon based on the ID. So this ID here, this 10D thing, is used from here. So if we go to the example and we open that file, so as you can see, there is this icon with the weather, and I believe if I use this O4D instead of 10D, it's going to show, yeah, broken clouds. Cool. Yeah, so let's use that. So what's the URL? So URL is like this. I hope they using SSL. Good. So what we are going to do is going to create another row in our cart with an image, and for source we're going to add this URL, and what we're going to change is just the icon. So cool. So if you just do weather, we're going to use string interpolation. So we just do weather, first element of an array, and an icon. and I believe that should do it. Something is not right here. Okay, so I didn't close the image. Let's see what we got. So if we go to chat, perfect. So we've got broken clouds. So we've got information about the city, about the weather, and then we also have some visual stuff, which you all love. Okay, I think the last thing we're going to do is we're going to show some information about temperature. Ooh. Okay. So what's going to happen here is weather. Was weather main and the temperature. Weather main and temperature. I do not want to. I want to just display an integer. Yeah. So I'm going to parse that information to int. Don't need the comma separated places, and we're going to style it. Okay, so this is going to be the biggest one as per Apple Weather app. So let's see what we got here. Cool. We've got 16. It's good. Maybe we just stick some degree sign. Okay, how does it look? Perfect. And maybe we have also information about the maximum and the minimum temperature on a day. So let's go to high, and we do weather main. I believe that was temp max. Okay, and the degree sign. And as above, I'm just going to parse it to integer, but you don't have to do it. And the lowest temperature is going to be the same, but instead of max, just going to use min. Okay, so let's see what we have. Perfect. So let me close that. So we have information about the city for this customer. We have some icon. We have a temperature, high, low. Okay, maybe we need a little space between. And I think this is something maybe even Philip would agree to release it. Cool. But if you guys follow me, if you all could join this link and join the chat, so we can actually test it. We can actually test it if that's working with different locations. So could you try that now?
I got stuck in the queue.
Yeah, there's a queue. No. Okay, so let's see. So we have 5 or 6 people, or even more. Okay, so we have one from Torun, the same temperature, something from Krakow. From Bydgoszcz. Or even from Portugal, yeah, João, very nice weather. And Wrocław, cool. So, as you can see, this this works quite well. And I believe there was a poll as well from the UK. Sweet, the same weather in the UK. What a surprise. Cool. Okay, so what's the time? Yeah, so it's actually 1 hour. So what would be the next step? So we have let's say we have this app, and let's call this app that's, you know, it ticks all the boxes. Unfortunately, today we're not going to go to the part 2. Maybe we'll do another session later when we're actually going to show the interactions between the customer, between agent and the customer. I'm going to push the code on my repository, and it's going to be in a dev branch. And this implementation in dev branch has these interactions, but unfortunately, we won't have time. We won't have time today. But what would be the next step? So the next step, it's if you're happy with your app, you go to Dev Console, and then okay, you need to decide if you would like to have this app for free or you would like to sell it. If you want to sell it, you have to create an app monetization block. In order to do that, you would need to create the authorization block. This is required by our billing API. Then the next step would be to fill all the blanks. This information, which are going to be then visible in the marketplace. So you can actually see that here. So if you go to account and you go to settings and you go to integration and apps, we have this section which shows the installed apps on your license, but also the apps you're implementing. So if you go to private apps, this is our private app. You have an icon, name, and the description, and you can actually open it in the marketplace. And this open only visible to you private view. Yeah, so you see that the app, the page for the app will look like this. And you can change stuff from here, like the short description. You can change the price. You can change the icon. You have information that there is no description and that's required. Also, there is no screenshots. We also require to put a tutorial, or we will require that, and then some features and benefits for the app. I can show you an example of an app. So for example, we have this nice app, Snapcall, which has all the information I was just telling you about. So yeah, there's an icon, there's a description, long description, the price information, the trial. You can all specify that in the monetization block, how many actually teams are using it, who implemented it, what's the category. You have the section for your screenshots, but also for a video link. There is a one link for video. Okay, and yeah, there is a setup instruction in the place of a tutorial, and then you have the features, which describes all the features which are relevant to your customers and the benefits. And you can all specify that information here. Yeah, so you have the description, the category, tutorial, the app cover, the background. So the app cover is this section here. You can change that image to fit your needs. You can also change the background to match your maybe your color scheme. And then this is the section for features and benefits. When all this is implemented and you're happy with it, you just go to a publish section on the marketplace, and if all the information which I just described are there, you will have a button over there to submit the app to review. Yeah, and once that's reviewed, once that's sent, it's going to send the information to our team, who's responsible to people who are responsible for reviewing the app, and they're going to review app based on our rules, and you'll get some feedback if there is something which is required to be fixed. And then once we are happy, we're sending you information that the app is ready to be published, and then you can actually decide when you want to publish. Yeah, you just have to press the button to publish. A new app is going to be visible over here. Okay. So if we go back to my presentation, yeah, unfortunately, I didn't have time to do the part 2. I could probably start it, but yeah, there's no chance I will finish that before 4. I don't think. Yes, if you have any questions, now it's the time to do it. Anyone? At least one question.
Let me help you with that.
No, Philip. Do we have any questions on the chat? No, okay, I got some stuff from my friend on the private chat. I'm getting lazy with CSS. Cool. Okay, so if there is no questions, what I'm going to do is I'm going to post that video on my Twitter, but also it's going to be on live chat dev platform Twitter. I'm going to also put the slides over there with useful links, the one I described, and also again the reminder, there's still time for the hackathon. You can still submit your solution. Just think of a nice app which fits the subject. As you can see, it's really easy to do it, and really not a long period of time. So cool. That's it from me. Thank you.
Can people reach out to you if they have questions later?
Absolutely. Yeah, you can reach me out on on Twitter, or yeah, probably Twitter is the best place. But also you can use our live chat dev platform account and ask questions over there. Okay, that's it then. Thank you, guys.
Thank you so much, Kuba.